Good evening. Well, today, finally got my fuel pump for the Z. It's sitting there behind you. I think this first section that I'm going to get into is just going to be taking the fuel pump rack apart. It's really pretty simple on these. Some are a little harder. Some you have to change the whole assembly. This one right here, we can just change the pump on this one. Unfortunately, I don't have the other one that I was using. It came out of a General Motors product, and it was a full plastic encased part. You can change those out, but those are kind of a pain in the backside because of all the plastic you got to take apart to get to them. There's springs and check valves and all kinds of other stuff. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to change this one out. Here is the new one. Supposed to be a WALBRO. Came out of somewhere in California, I believe. It's a whole kit. Got the sock, got the hose, got an isolator, got the plug and some clamps. Here's the pump itself. It's got a boot. Goes over looks like it goes over the plug end and the outlet. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Help if I had my knife on me today. Let's see what this does. There we go. So yeah, we got our inlet right here. We'll get this little doodad right here popped off. Pump's right in there. This is the motor. This is, it says a TI Automotive, made in USA right there. Good old US of A, which is nice. I like seeing that. It says it's a GSS 342 G3. It says 255 liters per hour, which is like 91 gallons per hour, I think, or something in that general vicinity. We'll go ahead and start putting this together. I don't know how it goes together exactly, but we're gonna wing it, and we're gonna make this work. So get this part of the packaging open. The isolator will go on. Slide that on over there. One way. There we go. This is going on. Got that on. Here's the sock. It looks like there's a little tiny clip in there. It's right there under my thumb. It is to hold right there. It's to help hold this sock on for vibration. Yeah, there it is. It's a little tiny baggie. Hopefully you can, wait a minute. Got dark over there, didn't it? Yeah, there it is. So this little piece right here pops out. Keeps all the garbage out of there. Go ahead and slide this on. It's got a good positive fit. I mean, it's got a really nice tight fit. Yeah, it's got a real nice tight fit. Go ahead and pop this off. Get this out of there. There it is. Set that over top. Now we got to figure out how to set that down on there. I don't know if I got to hit it or if just pushing it down is going to do the trick. Little tiny thing, hard to hold on to. Oops, it's definitely magnetic. So that happens when you have fingers that are just way too big sometimes. Alright, let's use these. See if this helps me out any. Well, I just folded it in half. Wasn't really on a list of things I wanted to do. Flatten back out there a little bit. Flip it over the other way. Nope, this is not going to work. I'm going to have to figure out a way to make this do what I want it to do. So, just grab a little size is this one. It's about 6mm. Grab this. Make sure this slides over that. Yep. Is it too big for this? No, let's see what happens here. Whoops, fell right in there. It's gonna be a pain in the backside. Oh, it's trying to start. I'll just bend it the other way. Go ahead and see if I can flatten this out a little more. It's the first time I've worked on using a fuel pump that's not OEM. It's the first time I've tried to use one. A lot of what I do is trial and error. Just heads up, I'm not certified in any of this stuff. I do my best to do some research. Semi-mechanically inclined. Screwed enough stuff up that sooner or later I got to learn how to fix it. So it's kind of where I'm at in life. Probably not too many things I haven't screwed up and had to try to fix because of that. Oh, this is not fun. Do you really even need it? As soon as I don't use it, I'll need it. So we're gonna work on that one here in a minute. I'm gonna put that back in this box. Probably do this off camera, seeing that you probably done tired of watching me fiddle fart around with it. Yeah, so here's those two items, the hose clamps. There's the hose. I am going to get a different hose. I don't like the way this one looks. You have to be very specific on these hoses with these fuel pumps. These put out about 90, 91 PSI. And then they run through the regulator. This is actually the regulator for the Z. This one's run by all vacuum, the return line, the two inlets. It's got a fuel temperature gauge on it. But that's there. So we're gonna set this apart now that I got that not very far. Set these over here, and let's go ahead and take this apart. I don't really have to mess with any of this, any of the hoses up here. They're going to pretty much stay in place. I do have to remove the wires here. I'm not going to fiddle fart around with trying to take them loose. I'm just going to cut them. It's way easier that way. I can so if you look, here's the new wiring harness. This is the old wiring harness. I try to stay out of this as much as possible. These wiring harnesses on these, after they get older, they get really fragile. Really. They break, and they're not real easy to put back together, and to buy another one is pretty astronomical for a fuel pump. finding them for $350 is just seems like a little high for me. We'll just put that one over there. Flip this over. You have 3 bolts here. We'll take those out. Once we get those out, this portion of the assembly pulls away. That's all you got. We'll set that aside. We can come over and we'll flip it back around. We'll go ahead and unscrew this hose clamp. It's kind of corroded. I don't know if that's because of the ethanol fuels that they're using today. I just went to go fill up a vehicle with some non-ethanol fuel. Surprisingly enough, it was way more expensive than I anticipated. I know the ethanol is supposed to decrease our footprint, be all safe and sound. I really don't have a problem with it. It is what it is. Okay, see if we can get this. Let's pull this up here. This hose off. Come on. There it comes. Hey, there it is. Easy as that, getting that out. We'll set that aside. Actually, we won't need that. This is the OEM isolator that keeps the vibration down. It fits really well and down in here. It fits side to side on all 3 of these points, and just keeps it from bouncing and vibrating around. What I'm gonna do is, if you give me a minute, I'm gonna do some cleaning on this, and I'll be right back. Well, I went out. I did get the part put on after I had the fiddle fart. It probably took me another 15 minutes to get that on. That's really all it is. That little clip right there. Basically, what I did is took it, balanced it in a 5mm socket, took my Phillips screwdriver as I set it down in there, and I kind of bent it a little bit so it would fit on there a little better. And once I got it to the point where I would touch it or get on there, I just grabbed this and pushed it on. Just used that 5mm. On it went. We're all set. That's all ready to go. Went out and got me some 5/16, or found me some 5/16 here in the shop. I had everything but 5/16 fuel line, and what I used to get the Z started and pulled into the shop on a 5-gallon bucket and an old fuel pump I had. I had some 5/16 on it. I'm really kind of concerned. I went to the hardware store, went to the parts store, car parts store, and said I need 5/16 fuel line. They gave me 4 or 5 feet of 5/16 fuel line. This both stuff is expensive. And I just pulled it out of a thing of gas, and the rubber's sticky. That makes me concerned that the rubber's already breaking down. It says it was a Dayco hose. Dayco, to my knowledge, was one of the better hose manufacturers out there. So this is what I got. They said it was fuel line. They said it was high pressure fuel injection fuel line. So I am going to hope that that's normally how it goes. I don't normally mess with a fuel line inside the tank. This is the most I've probably messed with one, is on this car. So, well, with that, I guess the next thing we're going to do is we need to, the ones that came with it was this one. And as we can see, it's not going to quite not going to quite make it to the bottom. This has to set down here at the bottom. I sit down here at the bottom of the rack, and then there has to be a hose to make it from up here down to the top of this. That's not going to make it. So put those aside, found this one, and did some measuring, high-tech measuring, micrometers and all. Set that in there where I kind of wanted it, went like this and went, that's a good spot right there. So I'll finish cutting that off. And there it is. Oh, don't want to do that. Started pulling the reinforcement out. So cut about that much off. We'll use that for something else, who knows. Take and we'll put the hose clamp on it. Use one of the old ones. There we go. Use one of the old hose clamps. Get that pushed on there. Let's see if this is going to go on here without a fight. If not, I like using Vaseline petroleum jelly to allow these to help slide on a little better. They, because it's a petroleum jelly, it'll just go away with the gas. And it doesn't really hurt anything. And she's going on. Let's get it up a little higher. There it is. So that barb's about 1 inch long. I like having it up there as high as I can get it. Now we'll get the hose clamp up there. Loosen it up just a little bit. Come on, work with me here. There we go. Loosen up just a tick. Slide her up on there. Always face the screw head for the worm gear out, so you can easily access it when it's on a workbench or in the car. But this will always be on the workbench when you're working on it, because to leave it in the tank is, well, just not a thing you're going to do. So this makes life a little quicker. Nice and tight there. Get this out of the way. Those things I'll need here in a minute. Then we'll take another hose clamp. And again, this worm gear, the head for this worm gear is pointing up. This one will also point up. So when I lay it on the table, if I have to do this again, or anybody else has to do this again, everything's nice and easy to just unscrew, take it apart. Try not to make it as difficult as possible for myself or the next person. We'll double check. Put this bolt back in. Double check that our height is where we want it. Absolutely perfect. Pull this back off. Yep, got the hose clamp on it. Buddy, this is the, don't forget your hose clamp. It just pisses you off when you do that. You get all the way to the point going, we're ready to do this. And you gotta figure out a way to get the hose clamp on. All right, this is pretty tight. Hopefully we can get it on there like we need her. She's going. That should get her. So now what we'll do is we will put the cage on, get everything arranged like we want it. The sock will actually stick out of this cage because so let's just go ahead and stick her out the other side. There it went. There we go. There'll be about an inch and a half of fuel in the tank when she's completely dry. When it runs completely out of fuel, there'll be about an inch and a half of gas still in the tank. The nice thing about that is if there's any debris or water or anything like that, moisture that's been acquired or made or developed or anything like that, it will keep it at the bottom of the tank and not get it sucked up in the pump. And I seem to be missing. A fuel tank full. Oh, there it is. I know it couldn't have gone too far. Go ahead and get this put in here. Those of you that work on Z31s a lot, I commend you. They're a fun little car to work on. They're a fun little car to drive. They're not super hard to work on if you kind of have an idea of how the mechanics works on these vehicles. There we go. Tighten down the 3 screws here. Nice and tight. Like I said, we'll take this, take the hose clamp here, and again, try to keep it in line with this one. This one's pointing up. I'll leave this one pointed up, so you can do both of them at the same time if you get back in here and work on this. All right, yeah, let's just cheat on this. This goes a lot quicker this way. Oh, there it is, nice and tight. So with the isolator on it, the one thing I will be doing is I will take this and I will hose clamp this to one side. I have my hose clamp here. We'll take this, we'll undo the worm gear, wrap it around, show you that here in a minute. But first, let's go ahead and try not to break this. Like I said, this is these things are very fragile. They don't like moving a lot. They corrode. And then once they corrode, they come apart even easier. So let's try 16. Oh, yeah, 16 gauge. There it went. So it looks like we're using a 16 gauge wire here. Pop that off. And this is the plug. This is the plug that comes with the pump. Bought it as a kit. And then Back some of these wires off a little bit. Wrap them up. So what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to use some shrink wrap on them. Just wire shrink. It'll put a nice seal on it. So we'll go to do this, we'll just wrap it around. Nice and tight there. Nice and tight there, no way it's coming apart. Uh-oh, may have used the wrong size. Go ahead and take that apart. Trial and error. Like I said, I've screwed up more stuff than I've gotten right when it comes to a vehicle. A lot of it's trial and error, and we'll figure it out. If it doesn't work, figure out a different way to make it work. So with that, I will use the next size up of the shrink tube. I'll cut this one in half. I won't be using the red this time. I don't have red in this size. Let's go ahead and put the clear back on. One. Screw this together. Just like so. Pull that over. That one's ready to go. Trying to do the same thing with this one. Again, kind of like the whole idea with the hose clamp. Put this on first, or you have to do it all over again. So now that it's on, let's go ahead and try this again. Nice and snug. Go ahead and lay that over it. One thing I do not have on the counter is it's a heat gun. So I'm gonna take a break for a minute and let you guys take a break. I'll come back with a heat gun and we'll continue with this. Enjoy. That didn't take very long. Kind of was a chase. I wasn't quite sure what I did with it. But it was sitting like 3 feet away from me, and of course, I didn't see it. So let's go ahead and fire this up. Put it on high. Yep, it's getting hot. Go ahead and shrink this down. I'm pretty confident that I won't have any issues with this later on down the line, at least the wiring connection. The old fuel pump was really loud, and according to a fuel pressure gauge, it wasn't putting out any pressure. I put it in, it ran great. After about 7 miles, it decided to not work any longer. So it's when I decided that find out kind of do some research and find out what everybody else is putting in these aftermarket and as they call it an upgrade. They call it again an upgrade. I'm not sure how much of an upgrade it is, but these particular pumps are supposed to hold, I think, up to 350 horse. I think it's 350 horse, which is more than sufficient for this engine. I don't have any big plans of souping it up and drag racing it. This is just going to be a cruiser. I'm just going to drive it around, make it look pretty. Doubt it goes in any shows. Again, it's just going to be a driver for me. Sun comes out, we're going to go play. It gets warm out, T-tops come out, we're going to go play. So, all right, well, we got that. Let's go ahead and get this plugged in so we don't forget. That would be a bad day at the office. Polarity is an issue with these, so make sure you have the correct polarity. I'm gonna zip tie that. I'll be right back. We'll wander over here to the other side of the shop. Grab a couple zip ties. We're going to zip tie this up just so it stays nice and tidy. Let's just do both of them. And then we don't have to fret about it. Just like that. And we'll take this and I will disassemble this the rest of the way. Just open up this clamp. Oh, not quite there. So just open her up. What I'm going to do is same thing as I've done before. Is I'm going to try to put the clamp in an easily accessible spot, which it's going to be about right there. It's going to be as easy as any. Again, clamps are lined up 1, 2. This will be lined up out on this side of the fuel pump. Go ahead and crank her down. It's going to take a second. It's kind of going to be long-winded. The clamp's a little big, but stainless steel. It'll hold her. Ain't going to go nowhere. Once I get this tightened down, there is really nothing else that needs to be done to this. Yeah, there it is. She's snug enough. She ain't going nowhere. Push it down a nut. There we go. So, got all my clamps. Got all my wires tied up, hoses are ready, wiring harness is ready. I think the next video is going to be me putting this thing back together and putting it back in the car. Maybe we'll go for a ride around town. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming to the channel. You all enjoy. Have a good one. Peace.